Well, Christmas is over, so the thing about it is that you either was given something for free or you had to buy something for someone for them to get something for free. But there's something I want to talk about that you can get for free in a job, and basically it's a career job is what you're going to have, and that is a free car. And mentioned this a few times, and what I wanted to elaborate on is there's different kinds of ways to get quote a free car. And so my favorite one is where the company gives you a car. Now this is where you'll be in sales and you'll have a territory and you drive around, and the company I worked for, which is Reynolds American, still does this, and they give you an excellent car. And I'll say this: I started out with a large Ford van because we carried a lot of product. We went down to a minivan for a while, and then we went to a Ford Taurus for about 11 years, which was okay. And then we finally started getting on the right idea of having a SUV. So we started out with Ford Escapes, and we had like um, three different generations of the Ford Escapes. We switched over to a Chevy Terrain, which was a midsize, and they were nice. And then I think the company, I've talked to my coworkers, and they're back to a Ford Escape hybrid now. And so and what the basis of this is you of course have to have a a driver's license, a valid driver's license, and preferably 0 points because they're looking for safe drivers. And this is what you do. So the benefits of this free car are unlimited. So number one, you get your car, it's yours, you're responsible for it. You need to wash it, keep it clean. And like what I used to do is that when I in my back seat, I had all my advertising in boxes. So what I could do if I was going to go somewhere or haul people, I would just remove the boxes and throw them in my garage, and then I'd have a full car seat, or a full car, full back seat. And then in the back of it, I kind of did the same thing. If I was going on a trip, it was all in boxes. I just backed up to the garage, took it all out, threw it in there, and then I just put it back in when I got it. So it was easy removal and easy to have. Now, what do you get with a free car? Well, number one, you get unlimited mileage to do your job. That's, of course, a necessity. And unlimited gasoline, insurance is covered, all maintenance is covered, tires, oil, repairs, any damage like a windshield crack, anything that happens to it, even body damage. If you get hit in a parking lot, that's taken care of, and it's all there. And your responsibility is to make sure that you maintenance it correctly, wash it, and on that respect, we used to get $25 a month to wash our cars, and it was a one-time wash, and all I did was just pay for it myself. And if it's $25 or over, you had to have a receipt to prove it. So what I did is I just got four car washes for $6 each, or got on a monthly membership for 35, and then I could go wash my car once a week through the drive-through. And yeah, I had to spend $10 out of my pocket, but $10 for free washes. I mean, it was great. So when you took your boss, you had a nice clean car and everything was good. The other upside on having this vehicle is it's at your house, and you leave your house with it, and then you drive it all over for your job. And what's really nice is what I did. If I needed to go by the grocery store on the way home, I just went by the grocery store, the cleaners, or whatever you need to do, and go that way. And then on Friday night, I would just hit the trip odometer to 0, and on Monday morning I'd look and see how many miles I drove, and then I would list that, because you do need to list your personal mileage. Now, one of the things that my wife and I did is I had a company car, and we drove to Colorado in it. And you're asking, is that doable? Can they do that? And the answer is yes. So you drive it up there, and again, it's the same thing. Put your trip odometer on 0, fill up your tank, and start out, and then just keep up with the mileage. And when you get back, you put that on your expense report that I drove, 1,200 miles or 2,000 miles, whatever it is. And again, the company pays for all the gas and everything. And our little joke was you had to be careful during the day because you can only put gas in it 3 times. So one time I was driving and I'd already filled it up that morning, filled it up again because I was kind of like a, quarter to half tank guy, fill it up. And then I did it third time. So the fourth time I was still driving around midnight. So I had to wait till after midnight to fill it up. And I always thought that was funny. So it is a wonderful thing to get and a wonderful thing to have, and you need to treat it with respect. There are people who have had accidents and had them totaled out, and that's a part of life. And but I did never did have any trouble with it at all, and it's one of the most wonderful perks you could ever have is a free car. Now, used to we got a hold of this company, we bought it, and they were driving their own cars, and they were getting a, I'll call it a stipend or a monthly allowance. And our company found out that it was cheaper to lease a car for them than it was to pay them to drive their own car. And I personally like the idea of getting a totally free car, and you get to order the color, and that's it. They just you just order the color you want, and so it's yours for 2 to 4 years, depending on mileage and age. It'll age out after 4 years, and mileage is like 75,000. They'll order you a new car, and sometimes if there's a backlog of cars, excuse me, if there's an overage of cars, you might get a car with 25 or 30,000 miles that someone's left the company, and that's just the way it works. But again, we're talking about a free car. And so there's really no downside to this. Now, one of the things I always tell people is use your cruise control on the highway and use your cruise control in the city so you're not getting tickets. And of course, the last thing you want is a ticket to come out of your pocket, and then it goes on your score, and they will run your driving record every year or two. And in my company, the spouse was allowed to drive the car also. So she could just take it and go whenever she wanted to, and that was fine, say on the weekend to go visit someone. So one of the things that I would check out wholeheartedly is to try to find a company, as I said, like Reynolds American, that provides you a free car and it's yours. Because if you're a single person and you own a car, don't make this mistake. Get rid of your personal car, sell it, and put the money in the bank in a savings account or some of it in your Roth IRA, and then you have a company car you just drive all the time. Some people kept their personal car, and I never understood why. Another way they do cars is sometimes they will pay you mileage. So you're driving your own car, which I didn't like because my car was getting, if I did that, I look at it that you get rock chips and problems and you got to take care of it, and they're paying you mileage on your car. I didn't like that one at all. And then the one that I did like is that they would pay you like $700 a month for your car expenses. Now you had to provide everything: the car, gas, maintenance, everything. And then they also had a rule: you couldn't have a car that was older than 5 years because of reliability. They didn't want someone stranded on the road they had to mess with, so they would check on that also. So being given a company car is a huge boost. And I will tell you a couple of funny stories that people did. As one, some of them waited too long to get their oil changed, and I had to scold them for that, which I thought was terrible. And I kept telling people don't do that. And then probably one of the funniest ones is there was a coworker of mine on the interstate. It was actually the turnpike, and the turnpike was rated at 75, and they were going 90, and the headquarters called the boss 3 times saying your employee is driving 90 in a 75. They were monitoring because they had the nanny in there, and the nanny is kind of a funny thing. They plug it into the little plug-in in the car, and they read it. So this thing was sending signals out, and she was told not to do that. And then that one other funny story is that I was driving someone's car that had a nanny in it, and I was backing up and stop and start real quick, and they go, "Ooh, don't do that. That's going against my driving record," because they were new, and I didn't think about that. But one guy, and I'll tell you this one warning, one guy had 9 points out of 10 on his driving record, and the fleet manager came out and drove around with him, and he goes, "I will tell you this: if I have to come out again to get your car, you will no longer be needed by the company because this is time and money, and you're a danger to the company. You're a risk. So make sure that you turn right at the red light to go down and come back. Don't put yourself in a bad situation trying to get across 6 lanes to get across the street, just take an extra minute or two to turn right, go to the light, turn around somewhere safe, and do it that way. So that's my free present after Christmas to you. Find a free car, find a company that gives away a free car, and get a job with that, because that is a huge perk you can have. And I will say, like, subscribe, ding the bell, comment, and as always, please share this with someone to start watching this channel and learn how to become a millionaire. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.